Hello, New Orleans. I don't think we expected to see each other again this soon, but the other shoe just dropped. So what you're going to see below is an updated timeline. What we know now contradicts a lot of what was said yesterday. Subsequent to yesterday's meeting, we asked for the production of several different documents. There were a lot of questions as to when contracts were signed, whether contracts were altered, and I have the answer to those questions. The first is, when was the contract signed? Well, what we know now, you'll see below, was that Mr. Henry signed a draft version of the contract. That's a part that's got like red lines on the side, no routing number on the bottom. He signed that at around 11 o'clock on the 9th. He then emailed that to the city around, let's see, is this 10:02 a.m. on the 10th. The next time we see movement on this contract is around 12:38 p.m., which is an hour after the council ended the emergency. And that movement was when Miss Colette White, if you don't remember who that is, that's this lady. When did you sign that? What date?
I am not certain. I would assume that the date would be, well, that's not necessarily the case. I don't know exactly what date I signed it.
Yeah, her, the one that didn't remember anything. She sent the final executed, signed version of the contract back to Mr. Henry at 12:38, an hour after we ended the declaration. Couple of quick points. I know a bunch of you are probably thinking, was that whiteout on that contract? I have to tell you, it totally was. Why is it important that the mayor was so desperate to go and predate this contract back before the council terminated the emergency? Well, what the mayor has continued to argue is that the council had no authority to terminate the emergency. We had no authority to affect this contract going out. If we don't have the authority, ladies and gentlemen, why in the hell would they go through all of these crazy schemes to backdate the documents? Because in the response to the citizen lawsuit in the French Quarter, when they were trying to defeat the imminent preliminary injunction that was going to end the Henry contract, Mr. Charles Rice, this guy, that's right, the CEO of Entergy, when they astroturfed us into building a power plant, yeah, he put on page 3 of his memorandum the following. The second action represents a continuation of the same plaintiff's analogous arguments, this time challenging Mayor Cantrell's lawful exercise of emergency authority to execute an emergency contract dated July 9th, 2025. They needed to post-date this contract in order that Mr. Rice could put in his attempt to stop those citizens from the mayor's unlawful actions. They needed a post-dated contract to fit in their argument. Now, what that tells you is a couple of things. One, with the fact that we have a post-dated, altered document that was utilized in a legal proceeding to make a legal defense, you've crossed like 5, 6, 7 problems. As an attorney, the attorney who filed this needs to explain to the court, was he aware the mayor was lying or was he party to it? That's one. Two, the fact that there was an effort to white out a document for whatever reason, post-dated in some shape or form, there has to be an explanation as to why the document had a white out on it to begin with. But more importantly, there is a clear chain of document exchange that begins at 10 a.m. on the 10th. The order of these documents being signed, according to the law department, is Mr. Henry signed the document, then the law department signed the document, then the mayor signed the document. So the mayor didn't get the draft until Troy Henry sent it on the 10th at 10 a.m. The law department, because this was done so haphazardly on a draft, had to lift his signature off the draft and re-put it on a final version. Then the law department had to sign that document before the mayor did. There is no humanly way possible this document was signed on the 9th, and the mayor lied, Charles Rice lied. They owe an apology. I believe this was in front of Judge Ethel Julian. They to make an admission to Judge Julian that they filed a false altered public document. And there needs to be an investigation as to how many other documents potentially have been altered or backdated to make legal positions. At the end of the day, I enjoy talking to y'all in New Orleans. I enjoy these opportunities for these somewhat fireside chats, but I did not expect this level of lazy conspiracy to unwind this quickly. We as a city, we as your city council are constantly pushing and demanding answers. And as we continue to claw and fight to make sure that $2.1 million isn't wasted on a contract just because the mayor wants to see her buddy get paid, this isn't over. This is just the beginning, and we're going to continue to dig because that's what we do for you. Hopefully this is the last video for the week, New Orleans, but have a great week.
It wasn't me. Heard the words